Good afternoon, good morning. How's everybody doing? TJ Kelly here from the crew, coming at you live. It is 3 o'clock on the East Coast, noon on the West, and going to talk video for real estate marketing today. I am solo again. Courtney had some stuff to take care of, so here I am going to talk through video with you today. So real quick, bear with me. I'm going to share this into the group, get everybody on board, and hopefully we can have a great conversation today about video. So bear with me as I get that done. Come on over here. So as a recap, I learned at the REM conference I was at out in Utah that it is best to start on a page or a profile with your videos and then share them into the group to get more people on board. So let me do that now and put that in the group over here. And let me see here. Share in group. Here we go. Boom. Successfully shared. Excellent. Excellent. Oh, there we go. Very good. All right, cool. Get that going. So how's everybody doing today? Let's start off with the Monday. I like to watch a live video from my main man Rory out in Washington, out by the Seattle area, and Rory always has his coffee. Right, he's the caffeinated real estate agent, and I do drink coffee, but it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. Rory does his at 9 o'clock in the morning, so he's got his morning cup of coffee ready to go. So I have my afternoon version of my coffee here. So there you go, there you go. So Rory, I hope you're watching. There's my answer to your caffeinated real estate agent. There you go. Coca-Cola, you can drop that into my my Venmo, okay, or sponsorship. All right, so we got a question today from Josh Keaton in the group today. So Josh, thanks for the question. He's asking about how to use video, and I obviously have to come at this from an SEO perspective. Rick, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the video. Actually, I had to reschedule a phone call with Rick today because I double booked myself. So sorry, Rick. Thanks for getting on the video instead, brother. Appreciate it. Hope you had a nice Veterans Day, my friend, and a wedding too you were at. So Josh is asking about best ways to use video for real estate marketing. And like I said, I'll come at that from an SEO perspective. I know, Rick. Sorry, buddy. I'll come at that from SEO. And Courtney and I we talked about this a little bit earlier today, and she'll come at this from the paid side another time. Hopefully we can talk about this next week, or maybe she can do her own video since she now owes me two. Right here I am solo the second time. So we'll talk through video and do the organic stuff. I actually am really interested to hear Courtney's answer in how best to leverage video in a paid campaign. I know that video ads mean one thing on, say, YouTube, and they mean something completely different in other platforms. So I'd love some clarity on that stuff myself. So would love to hear what Courtney has to say on that. But in the meantime, we can talk through the organic side. What's up, Jose? Nice to see you, brother. Thanks for joining the video today. So here we are. So we'll talk video. So there's a couple of different channels that I have to walk through, and each of them have their own sort of rules when it comes to best practices with video. And obviously, for many years, YouTube has been just the dominant player. They were the be-all, end-all of video for a long time. That has stopped being true in any kind of exclusive sort of a way in the last maybe 2 years or so, as as Facebook is starting to eat Google's lunch a little bit, being a big video platform. What's up, Jose? Thanks for joining me. I'm going to comment. There we go. So Facebook is starting to take over, and everybody knows that. So we'll talk YouTube and we'll talk video on Facebook and see how those two are a little bit different for organic. And I think to some degree, we can add in a few of the other smaller players. LinkedIn is obviously making a big video push. Even Twitter with the live video. They kind of started the whole thing with Periscope a number of years ago, and then things kind of didn't go all that well for Twitter acquiring companies. So Josh, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the video today. We're talking about your suggestion about video. Glad to have you on there. Oh, look, Courtney's watching the video. Thanks, friend. Thanks for doing that. So Sean, good to see you. Thanks for joining the video today. So we're talking video. Let's start with YouTube. So years ago, obviously, YouTube, Google came in and bought them up and said, okay, we're just going to own video, and that was really smart play for them. It has taken many years for them to really build that into a viable economic kind of plan for them. They were just absolutely hemorrhaging money for a very long time because there's some crazy number like a decade's worth of video is uploaded to YouTube every day. And you could fact check me on that. I'm not sure I got the stat perfect, but it's something along those lines. It's an absurd amount of video content being uploaded every day, so that requires storage in a server somewhere. And obviously being served, being downloaded and watched. So that, of course, requires bandwidth and server space also. So Google has to spend an incredible amount of money just to support YouTube, and it took them a long time to figure out a way to monetize that in any real meaningful way. So I don't have any inside information. I don't know how well they are or are not doing that, but in any case, they obviously host live videos much the way Facebook does, but it wasn't until Facebook Live kind of came to the front, at least in my world, that this live video thing really exploded. YouTube has the option, Twitter has the option with Periscope, and I'm sure that a number of others out there have it also, but Facebook just kind of took over. So the live video versus pre-recorded video, a little bit different, but still obviously really important when it comes to the marketing side. Hey, Andrea, how you doing? Thanks for joining today. With YouTube, we'll start there. So YouTube obviously kind of more closely aligned to the true SEO kind of strategies, and we'll get into social media versus, version of that when we talk Facebook. But the YouTube video play, right? Uploading whatever whatever video you've recorded on your phone or on a camera somewhere. You want to insert the keywords and into your headings and all that stuff, into your title of the video rather, and your description. So actually, pause button. I just got a text message from Courtney. Courtney, let me see if I can add you on here. I'm not sure if I can because this is not through Be Live. So Courtney, I think maybe I can get you on FaceTime. Maybe that'll work. We'll see. Give me a minute, Courtney. I might have to work on that for you. So let me jump back into where I was. The video play with YouTube, right? One of the inside information kind of bits that the SEO industry loves to give out here is that video descriptions, YouTube descriptions, the thing you can type out below your video, are an absolute goldmine. Most people love to skip that, right? You put up one sentence or maybe two below your video, and I'm guilty of it too. Courtney and I are guilty of it with the crew videos here. You just, upload the thing, you type in your title and maybe one description, and that's it. And you just hit the upload button and you think that you're done. You can be done, but there's actually a hidden gem there, a gold mine of SEO value in that long description. So number one, Google gets a ton of visibility for how it should be ranking these videos from that description, from what you write about your video. Crawling keywords in there. They, even more than description for keywords, they're looking at the title you've given the video and also what the file name is of your, .mp4 file or MOV or whatever the format is. Put your keywords in that file name before you upload it into YouTube. But then make sure that you're writing a very long, very descriptive description, right? Use your keywords, use your phrases, almost a copy and paste from the blog post or the article or the page or whatever it is you've got on your website. You don't want to make it verbatim, but make it close enough that those two things are related to each other. Thanks for the hearts, y'all. Appreciate it. Rick says, as long as Courtney is on here on her phone, if you were on a phone, I can invite her. I'm on my computer though, Rick. I appreciate the heads up. That's actually the secret I was looking for. I tried to do that last week with Courtney. I couldn't figure it out. That's the answer. I should have been on my phone. So I have one right back there. Maybe I'll use that next time, and that'll help us out. So I appreciate that, Rick. So back to the YouTube descriptions and such. So if you've ever been Googling something, one of my favorite examples is like how to tie a tie, right? Clearly, I know a thing or two about that, but that's all right, Courtney. Thanks for the heads up. Good luck on your next errand or assignment or whatever. So I'm going to stay solo for this. So, all right, how to tie a tie. Google something like that. How to, cook pizza. Whatever it is, your like how-to type of searches. A lot of those results will come up with this big box at the top. Top result. There goes my color again. Here we go. Get this big box. It just has like a couple of like bullet points or description of the answer to your question. Okay. In SEO, those are called a featured snippet. I know I'm getting off topic from video a little bit, but I'll bring it back full circle in a minute. That featured snippet is huge, right? It's just a big piece of screen real estate that Google is giving what they think is the answer to your question. That is one of the most highly coveted pieces of screen real estate in SEO. If you can get that featured snippet, it doesn't matter if you're ranking number one. Google doesn't always pull that from the highest ranking result. They pull it from what they think is the best answer to the question. Okay, so if you can get your content to rank as that featured snippet, and we could do a whole separate video on how to do that. But if you can do that, you get a ton of click-through. Everybody's clicking on that big result, right? One of the main sources for information where Google gets that featured snippet is from the description of YouTube videos. I'm going to say that again. One of the highest click-through rates and the best result you could hope for in organic SEO in a Google search is that big contextual kind of answer box called a featured snippet. And one of the best ways to generate a featured snippet is using your YouTube video description. So record a video, put keywords in the file name, put keywords in the title of the video, put a very long, descriptive, keyword-heavy description under that video, not just 1 line or 2 lines. I'm talking 3, 4, 5 paragraphs, bullet points, links, anything, you know, a bunch of detailed information in there, and Google is going to rely on those descriptions to generate featured snippets. Now, obviously, there's no guarantee that you're going to get one of those featured snippets. It all depends on what people are searching for. But you significantly improve your chances. Google is relying heavily on YouTube descriptions for those featured snippets. So don't overlook your video descriptions. Those are really, really important. So that's the YouTube side. We could talk a little bit more about how embedding a YouTube video on your blog or on your website works out. There's some user experience kind of metrics that Google's looking at there. The technology behind that is known as an iframe. If you're familiar with that, I'm not, you know, saying anything too advanced here, but if you don't know much about web development or HTML or anything, thanks for all these emojis, guys. I'm not sure who's clicking that button, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Keep it going. The way an iframe works is you're basically taking something that YouTube owns, right, this video, and you're kind of, you know, putting it into the middle of your website. That's kind of like you're framing in part of one website inside of yours, inside of another website. So you almost have 2 pieces of website in one. And that means a couple of things. Google, when looking at user interaction metrics for rankings, they are looking at things like how long people spend on your page, how many things they're clicking on, how much they're interacting with it, and clicking a YouTube video to hit play or pause or, you know, whatever, that counts as an interaction. So there is some indirect SEO benefit to having a YouTube video on your page. It is not the kind of, you know, business shady, Google owns YouTube and they want you to use it so they're going to reward you for using it. It's not that nefarious. Instead, it's just a matter of the length of time that users spend on your pages and the amount they interact with your pages. That is a ranking signal. Those user interaction signals count. They count indirectly. They're not as strong as some of the other signals, but they do factor in. So embedding YouTube videos on your page is a good thing. But you also want to have words. You also want to have a description and a write-up around that video, above and below it, describing what's going on, describing what the other keywords are, the other phrases that your page needs to rank for. Don't leave it as just the video, but include the video, include your description, include some keywords and some kind of crossover between what the description says, what your page says. They don't want to be exact, but they can be pretty similar. So, Josh, I don't know if that specifically answers your question. That's the YouTube side. I'll get into the social kind of organic Facebook organic way next. But, you know, leave a comment here, Josh, or anybody else for that matter, if I have answered or asked any more questions or raised any more questions in your mind about using video for real estate marketing. So that's the YouTube side. Let's jump to Facebook, and I'll come back to YouTube if we need to, if we get any more questions. On Facebook, right? Live video is kind of one category. Pre-recorded video is another category. And I'll start with the pre-recorded stuff. You know, you pull out your iPhone and you take a quick selfie video of like, hey, look at me at this new open house, new property, whatever. And then you upload that to your Facebook. You should expect some pretty good distribution of that video as compared to uploading an image or just a text status or something. Facebook is updating its algorithm frequently, as they all do, and lately their algorithm has been heavier and heavier and heavier promoting video. So, Josh, you correctly pointed out earlier today, I took a screenshot of Twitter, right, of the Cruise Twitter account. And all I did was use QuickTime on my Mac here to do a new screen recording. Drew a little box around that, you know, that Twitter, that tweet, right? And just hit record on my screen. Didn't move my cursor, my mouse or anything. Didn't say anything with, you know, I have a microphone pick anything up. So there's no audio in the video. It was just a 15-second video of a screenshot. So essentially just an image for 15 seconds, right? And technically that counts as a video, because it's an MP4 format. I'm sure you've seen this happen. All those like viral thread and all these, you know, kind of viral video type Facebook pages, they're all doing this. And the reason we're doing it is Facebook is pushing videos more than they're pushing images or anything else. I shared an infographic on this. I don't remember if it was in this group or another one, honestly. I'll go back and look for it if I can find it. The the stats are crazy. How much interaction you get on a video as compared to video, how many views you get. Video is just it. There's another study. I'll put links to all this stuff. I know I'm just kind of quoting random things, but I'll put a link to this. It's a study done of marketing departments of some of the major corporations around America over the last, I think it was this past year, 2017, looking forward to 2018. And they're all saying how their ad budget is going up and up and up and up on video. Everyone is spending more time, more money, more resources promoting video. And Facebook is on record as saying I think within 5 years from now, right, 2022, 5 years from 2017, Facebook is saying that their platform will be all video. Now, what exactly they mean by all video, who knows? But video is obviously taking over. So how best to leverage that? Obviously, things like keywords are going to make a big difference, but where that can be most useful, especially in a Facebook video, is in captions. If you've got that, a CRT file, I think it's called, for your captions, you can get somebody to type that out for you. Rev.com is a popular one. They can do it for, I think, $1 a minute of the length of your video. Or you could just type it in yourself. It takes a little while. It's kind of tedious, but it's pretty easy to do. Just type it in, second mark by second mark. And having captions laid over your video to describe, what people are saying. And the reason for that is I think it's 88%, some crazy high number of videos on Facebook are watched with no sound, right? 88, 82%, some number like that of videos on Facebook are watched on mute, so you can't hear what's going on. So that means having those captions in there is obviously a great way to still get the point across in a written way, based, on top of whatever you're showing in the video. So take the time to invest in either having somebody type out those captions for you in a CRT file or putting them in there manually yourself. That is, that's going to be up your interaction rates and get your point across a lot better. Now, I don't know. I can't say, I have no data to back this up, but I think that Facebook's algorithm is looking at things like captions in a CRT file the same way that YouTube does. We know, it's confirmed that YouTube is looking at those captions for keywords. The same way they're looking at your title and your meta description and your tags, they're also looking in your captions. That is a written version of whatever's in your video. And if YouTube is doing it, it's a pretty safe assumption that Facebook is going to do it too, but I can't confirm that. So where that kind of changes, why that matters, is Facebook's algorithm pushes things out not based on like keyword relevancy in a search sort of a way, the way Google does, but their algorithm, puts things out on an interaction sort of a way. Just like on their ad platform, their organic algorithm is trying to show people the material that Facebook thinks they're going to like. If you always watch videos, you're going to get a whole bunch of video. If you always, put a heart, emoji or a thumbs up or something on, image status from a certain person, you're going to see more and more of that person stuff in your newsfeed, right? Who you're interacting with and how you're interacting with them matters. That affects the algorithm and your newsfeed's customization. So can keywords in captions influence that at all? I don't have any data to back this up, but I think so. I think if your activity on Facebook, you're always giving a thumbs up to, when the Patriots beat the heck out of the Denver Broncos last night, for example, and I'm always liking things about the Patriots, then, Facebook can be smart about that and say, all right, TJ likes watching the Pats. We're gonna show him more Patriots-related things. Even though the video I might have been watching might not have come from New England Patriots or from anything in New England. It might have been just an NFL-related, page or something. The fact that Patriots are mentioned and I liked it, Facebook is smart enough to pick that up and show me more Patriots-related things, for example. So, hey, Michelle, how are we doing? Thanks for joining. So, that's one example. Again, I'm kind of speculating a little bit, but even if I'm wrong, it's still good to put those captions in there because they're better for users, right? Users being able to read your stuff even when their phone has it on mute by default, right? So, Josh, you have to clue me in if I'm answering your question here. I don't have it written in front of me because I just have the Facebook live screen. So maybe I should actually go and do that. That might be helpful. Huh? So let me pull that up and make sure I'm hitting all the aspects of Josh's question. If anybody else has questions on this stuff, on using video for Facebook marketing, for real estate marketing, now would be the time. Throw that in there. So let me just go see what you got here. So Josh asks, specifically its relation to SEO, should we shoot for social signals to site via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or Google properties like Google Plus or YouTube, embed on our site and share or upload to Facebook? So let me stop there. So I think if I'm getting your question right, Josh, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're asking, is it better to upload my video to YouTube and then embed it on my page and share that to Facebook? or is it better to share the video natively directly up into Facebook? So that's the question I'm going to answer. So correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, if that's what you're asking or not. But in that scenario, I would say you should do both. And I think you identified this in your question. Yeah, I'm going to say do everything. But here's why. Both of those networks have their own strengths and their own weaknesses, and they both kind of play to a particular audience. Right? There are YouTube people out there that have just been engrossed in, watching the next video all the time for YouTube, and that's been true forever. And now Facebook, that's obviously taking over the newsfeed. So, some people prefer to be on YouTube all day and some people prefer to be on Facebook all day, and they might be different groups of people, and you might want to reach both of them, right? The LinkedIn crowd has its own time of day and its own day of week and its own kind of behavior patterns. The Twitter crowd has its own kind of behavior patterns. Each of those groups of people, they're probably on all of these networks, but they spend most of their time on one particular network, and they might not be the same. So it is in your best interest to reach all of those people in all of their different networks, right? If everybody in this group, I think some people are familiar with Katie Lance and her social media consulting agency. There was a question posted in her group late last week, Thursday, Friday. Somebody said, should your biography, your little about me bio on your Facebook page or your profile or your Twitter, Twitter bio, your Twitter profile, should it be the same across all of them, or should it be different? My answer to that, and I'll bring this back to video in a second, my answer to that is they should be pretty much the same, but with a little bit of difference that plays into each network's strengths and weaknesses or behavior patterns. For example, Twitter and Instagram have very, very short bios that you're able to put in, where on Facebook it can be longer. Right, so that right there, you got to keep it short on Twitter, and that's kind of been true for Twitter all across the board, right? On Instagram, it's really popular to use emojis in your bio, right? So that's a little less popular in places like Twitter, and definitely less popular in Facebook. So keep it consistent, keep it mostly the same, but modify it slightly based on the needs and kind of the patterns of each network. And I would make the same argument about video. If you're going to be uploading a video to YouTube and another one to Facebook, they don't necessarily have to be the same video. They don't have to be identical, right? The amount of time that users spend watching a video is higher on YouTube than it is on Facebook. So you could make your video a little longer for the YouTube version and shorter for the Facebook version, definitely shorter for the Instagram version if you're going to put one up there, and shorter for the Twitter version also. So the same way you can have kind of similar but modified versions of your bio, you could do the same thing with video. And that sounds like a lot of work. I know that. But I might recommend shooting one long one, probably the YouTube version, and then taking it into iMovie or Adobe Premiere or Final Cut, or having somebody on Fiverr or Upwork do this for you and just cut out little pieces of it. If I've got a 3-minute long video, I might want a 1-minute long version, a 30-second long version, and a 20-second long version, or something to that effect. And then you can push out the shorter and the longer versions to different networks, right? And you just recorded it once, but then you kind of edited it down differently. So again, that's a little bit more work. I get it. So Josh, I'm not sure again if that answers your question specifically, but let me go back and make sure I hit the whole thing. So benefits of video are strong and evolving pretty fast. It's tough to get a handle on priorities. Yeah, I totally get all that. So the main thing for me when it comes to video is that it is absolutely taking over. I want to caution everybody and say, though, that there are people out there, and I'm one of them, who doesn't really like watching video. I turn on my television and I'll watch that on mute, if you can believe that, especially if it's something like live sports. I just want to see it. I don't necessarily need to have it, total sensory overload with my TV or my whatever video. So there are people out there who are rejecting, or at least, kind of pushing back against this video a little bit. So for them, the best thing you can do, and I say this as a card-carrying member of the I Don't Love Video club, provide a written version along with the video version. Right, and so for Michelle, I think this suggestion came up in the Snap Pack a few weeks or months ago, that you can use rev.com to type up that transcript for you. I know Katie Lance is doing that. I don't know. I think some of the other folks in the Snap Pack have recommended them as well. I've never done that. I've never used them. I usually do end up doing my own, but if you're not interested in spending the time and typing up your own transcript, I know that there are services out there to do that for you pretty cheaply. But don't use it verbatim. Take the transcript back and edit that down a little bit, curate it, because people read differently than they listen. People write differently than they speak. So take the transcript, which will be a word-for-word verbatim version of the written thing, and modify, translate it into something that's easily read and kind of skimmed down the page. And honestly, yeah, what I'm describing is a lot of work, but I mean, we're talking about business. This is a cutthroat environment. Either you're winning or you're losing. So the strategies out there are to combine all of these methods into one and put your best foot forward. And there are folks out there doing it. So either you can get on board and try to beat them at their own game, or they're probably going to sit back or beat you while you don't. So I'm guilty of this too. Everybody is. It's a lot of work. It's a tall order. It's a lot to ask. I know all that. So so there you go. So there's my take on using video for real estate marketing. The only thing I want to cover last, which we didn't talk about at all yet, is what to shoot, right? What to put in your videos, which I'm sure is part of what some people came onto this video hoping to hear. So I'll add that real quick. The last thing I would recommend is that the videos be organic, or what's the word for this? Authentic. We'll go with that. They should be real. I actually want to see who you really are. Don't put on too much of an act or kind of a facade and make it into like this big production. Just get out your iPhone or whatever you've got, and start showing me the real side of you, right? So I happen to be standing in front of a little sheet, right? There's nothing crazy, expensive or difficult for me to produce this. I just have, I'm using a standard iMac, and I've got some nice lights that I bought on Amazon for like $150. But it doesn't have to break the bank. It doesn't have to be difficult. And I just get on here and I talk about the things that I think are useful and the things that I happen to know a little bit about, right? You could do the same. You are the expert in your market, so you could just turn on the camera and start talking. And if you do it live, that presents a little bit of a, kind of nerve-wracking little challenge that, it's going to happen. Either you say it right or you fumble over it, and either way, people are going to see it. And that's true. Or you could just turn on the camera and talk at it for a little while until you start to feel comfortable, and then you hit your stride. And now you can just talk about, Rick and I were on the phone last week talking about his area down in Florida. Talk to me about this new development that's going in there. I don't live there. I've never seen it, so teach me. Right, I just got off the phone a little while ago with a new real estate agent in Southern Oregon, and his name is Mike. And there's a new development going in near him, and he said there's low competition. How do I get myself out in the forefront of people buying homes in this new development? Go there. Go stand in front of the new, the construction crews that are, pushing dirt around or hammering nails in, and just have them in the background and talk about your services. Talk about the new area. Talk about what's great about that spot. And in his case, and this might go true for anybody that's got a development coming in, if I'm Googling this particular area, and I won't name it because, I haven't got his permission to talk about his case yet, but let's pretend there's a new development, going in. I don't know, it could be called, I live on a street called Crosby, so we'll call it Crosby Homes, right? So here I am at Crosby Homes. Here's what you need to know, right? 10 things you didn't know about Crosby Homes. And just start naming facts. And immediately, if I'm Googling that area, all I want to know is, do I want to live there or not? And I happen to find a real estate agent who's speaking to me, via this video about the area that I'm trying to learn about. I've gotten all the information I wanted. I learned about Crosby Homes. That's awesome. But now I also made a connection with this person. And so you get this like two birds with one stone. Right? You give me the information that I want, and you also meet me and establish a connection that way. And I think that is just an absolute no-brainer. So the new development, new construction area is one. And then the second thing that I love to recommend is go out to your community and set up these like quick interviews with local business people or local charities or events or venues or something. And, our good friend Shannon Milligan down in Virginia talked about doing this 12 days of Christmas, right? She picked 12 spots, 12 businesses around her area, and just walked in with with her iPhone or whatever she's got, and said, "Hey, can I shoot a quick video? I love this place. I'd love to tell all my friends on Facebook about it. Do I have your permission to walk around here for 5 minutes just talking about how awesome this place is?" And of course, all 12 of those business owners said, "Yeah, that would be great. Please do." And now she has 12 consecutive days of, hyper local community focused content that she can put out in a video way. And it took her, I can't name any numbers, but if I recall, she and her husband and her kids just drove around, on a day or two. So it's not a difficult thing to produce. So, all right, so there you go. So I've talked about YouTube versus Facebook. We've talked about SEO versus social media. We've talked about different things you could be saying in these videos and why each of those networks and those topics each have their own strengths and weaknesses. So I hope we covered it all. We're coming up against the half-hour mark, and I don't want to waste everybody's Monday afternoon too much. So Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for all the comments and hearts and all that stuff. Appreciate all the emojis. So there you go. There's our talk on using video for real estate marketing. Hope it was helpful, and we'll see everybody next time. Take care.